perhaps we'd want to have a screen set up for our automatic crop settings, which basically works like the memory seat in vehicle. And in the past, you know, you may have been used to writing down the settings that you had in mind for a certain crop type or crop condition. Okay, so if we were going to set up our automatic crop settings, or perhaps adjust a setting in the field, we want to set that up on a run screen. The way I've got this one set up, I've got our 5 main settings here on the left: sieve upper, lower, rotor speed, concave opening, fan speed. And so these 5 main settings I might fine-tune going through the field, and then I'll want to save that setting. So of course we want to have the correct crop type selected, and then our work condition is going to be the name that we're going to save those 5 settings under. So that's just a quick way to recall or to save an automatic crop setting on the go. If I'm going to set one up point blank, I like to go back to the main screen and go in the ACS tab, and we can set up a number of components in here, and we can either look in the operator's manual for an initial setting. I prefer using the sheets that I've printed off from caseihharvesting.com. They seem to be a little bit more tailored for our region here in the Midwest. When we set up an automatic crop setting, what we're doing here initially is for harvest mode, and harvest mode would be anytime that the head is lowered below the acre counter. There's another mode that we can enter called headland mode, and to enter the headland mode we've got to have a head on the combine, the separator and feeder running, and we also have to have our head set in automatic by pressing our resume button. And then on the front side there is this little shift button that I'm going to hold while tapping resume, and that'll actually place the head in headland mode. And in automatic crop settings we'll have 3 options here that we can change on a headland for turning around at the end of the field. And we can lower our fan speed and change our sieves. I would probably shy away from adjusting the sieves on the headlands because we just don't seem to have quite enough time to turn all the way around and drop back into the field and have those sieves make the change in time. But the primary reason for dropping your fan speed on the headland is to reduce machine loss when the machine empties out. So of course the machine runs most efficiently when you're full underway going across the field. Turning around on the headlands as it empties out, we always do seem to have a little bit more rotor loss, or not rotor loss but sieve loss. And so by dropping the fan speed, we'll just keep some of that grain in the combine as we drop back in for the next pass. So I can come in here and select my crop type. I've got corn 1 and I've also got corn 2. Some people ask me the reason for that. When you start out early season, a lot of people will start somewhere above 20% moisture on corn, and our moisture sensor is only accurate within a 5 degree or a 5 point window. So if I start at say 23% and eventually dry down to 18%, I'll probably want to change crop types and perform another moisture and yield calibration to continue my accuracy and my yield and moisture reporting. So I've got corn 2 here. As you can see, I've changed my work condition is tied to that crop type. So for my corn, I've got wet corn entered in as my work condition, and then corn 2 for later in the season once I've dried down maybe 18%, and then down I'll probably use dry corn all the way down below 15%. If I make an adjustment on the go in the field and I do not hit the automatic crop settings save button, you will notice over here in the upper left you'll see a number 1 flashing, and that just basically is a reminder that you have changed one of the 5 main settings for automatic crop settings and have not saved it yet. So the next time you cycle your key, maybe you go into lunch and come back, your settings are going to revert to the default or previously saved work condition. So if I want to make a change, maybe I come down here and adjust my upper sieve and make a minor change here. There we go. Get my finger on the right button. I'm going to have to come over here and hit save, otherwise it's going to revert back to my previous setting.